Welcome to Survival Theory. Today we're going to go over my new EDC. It's new because times they are changing, and with this pandemic, this virus running around, I've had to modify what I carry in my truck and what I carry on my person. So let's talk about it. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this small cooler that during the summertime I usually have in my truck to keep things a little bit cooler. And I've removed all the food items and drink items and turned it into sort of a pandemic kit. So I've got 5 or 6 N95 masks here. I've got a spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol. This is 70%. Got some Lysol disinfectant spray. I've got a bunch of paper towels here, already broken up into the small sections. Got 1 bottle of hand sanitizer and a box of medical exam gloves. I've also got some alcohol prep pads, and I've got an extra large heavy-duty Ziploc bag. In addition to that, I dug through my preps and I found this splash guard for the face. Check this out. So that's pretty cool. I can wear a mask under this, and you almost don't even know it's here because it's crystal clear from my point of view. So that's pretty cool. And as long as I'm not touching this foam pad, I should be able to remove this and spray it down before I remove my gloves or something like that. I'm going to start working out the details on how I'm going to use this if I need to, but I'm definitely going to put this in the kit. And it just rolls right up. And I drop it in this bag. So that's a splash guard for the face. So I put this kit together a couple of days ago, and yesterday I went into a drugstore to fill a prescription for somebody, and there was no one in there when the prescription was dropped off, and I sterilized my hands afterwards, didn't touch anything or anybody, etc. Took the precautions, felt pretty safe. No worries. And I went back in to pick up the prescription, and there was a long line. And I wasn't wearing any protection at that moment. I thought I was running in and running out, then sterilized my hands and sterilized whatever they gave me. No, there was a long line, so I tried to keep my distance. And, we don't know who has it. That's the problem. We don't know who has it. We're not doing any testing, any thorough testing. There's no quarantines of large populations, so you just don't know. So I'm standing in line, not worried about it too much. There's no known cases in my area, immediate area anyway. So this guy is getting his medicine, an older gentleman, and he turns around, and in that line of people waiting, he just coughs right onto everybody. And I was out of the way because I was trying to stay out of the line. But still, seriously, coughing like that. He just coughed on 10 people. What if he had it? He just passed it on to 10 people, potentially, right there in that line in that store. Just like that. And when I saw him cough like that, and no one seemed to even notice. They just were staring into space, didn't realize someone had just coughed in their face. And I had this look of disgust on my face, like, it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or not. You don't cough in people's faces. You got the cold, the flu, whatever disease you might have or whatever. One other lady looked really concerned. That's it, out of all those people. And it was at that moment I decided I'm going up one level. I'm not going into stores anymore without a face mask. without gloves, without protection. I'm not doing it because that was a sudden, unexpected cough, and that could have been the moment where I catch it. So I want to reduce my chances of catching it by avoiding those situations by being protected. Of course, the best way is to not go out and be in places like that unless you have to. And the second is, wearing a mask or not touching your face, and washing your hands. Those are very important. I'm not an expert or claim to be an expert, so I'm not going to go into the procedures and all that. But the important thing is to just be sanitary, not touch your face. And even if you wear a dust mask, I know they're out of N95s everywhere, but if you put that dust mask on, you could possibly prevent some spray going into your mouth. That's just common sense. But perhaps just as important, it reminds you not to touch your face because you have a mask on. And I think that's pretty important. I think it's going to be spread a lot by people just touching other objects and then touching their face, shaking hands, touching their face, things like that. So UPS just delivered a box to the front porch. I haven't touched it. I didn't need to sign anything. They dropped it off. I stayed inside. They left. So I've got isopropyl alcohol in the spray bottle. Got my medical exam gloves. I've got a small pocket knife here that's easy to sanitize. So I'm going to have this out. Got my alcohol spray. And I'll go ahead and put on these gloves. Make sure I got everything in the shot because I don't want to touch my camera after I start messing with that box. Looks like we'll be alright. Alright, so open this box up. Set that knife down. Dog food. And dog food. So I'm not going to take this box inside. I'm going to burn it. But right now it doesn't hurt anything. Just sit out here. People can see there's nothing in it if they even notice it. So I need to spray down these bags. Or leave them out here for about 5 or 6 days. I'll sterilize my blade. Sterilize the gloves. I'm even sterilizing the bottle where my gloves have touched it because it's all over my gloves. And it doesn't take much of that isopropyl alcohol to really get these surfaces. So I've touched the bottle, but I've now cleaned it. Clean the gloves. Now I'll take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and spray these down a little bit. So now without touching anything, especially my face, I'm going to go wash my hands, wash this bottle, wash this knife, and I don't have to touch the door handle because I've left it ajar. That way I'm not touching the handle with potentially contaminated hands. Should be good to go, but who knows, right? I'm just trying to be safe. So I haven't nailed down a specific pattern on how I will pump gas, etc. I'm kind of working that out. I know each method is going to be effective as I can be, but the proficiency and ease of which I do it should improve, after I fill up with gas a couple times. I've got to go to Dallas next week for days and days, and I will be living in my truck. I'm not getting a hotel. I'm going to be wearing protection at the meetings, which I almost guarantee you that's going to freak a lot of people out. But I will be there with protection. I won't be shaking anyone's hand. It's going to be a rough day with not touching the face and all that, but I have to go. It's important that I go. I'm going to do it before this gets too thick. But with the protection, I feel pretty comfortable, even though I'm going into a hot zone. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is this stays in my truck, because I don't need all this at home. Home is my secure and virus-free zone. The object is not to bring it into the home via me or any objects. That means this stays in my truck. And what I have to do, I don't want to just throw this in my seat and leave it there. I don't want, especially open, or if you have this in some kind of container, if someone sees hand sanitizer and face masks, they'll probably be breaking in. I mean, that's what people are after nowadays. So I keep it in the cooler, lid closed, and I have a blanket over it, down in the seat, so that you can't tell what's in here. Right, there you have it, my EDC kit for pandemics. So digging through my preps, I found these filter masks. Now these are not virus proof or anything like that, but I'm going to pass these out to some people who are at a low risk, but this will help them to remember not to touch their face. And basically that's all these are, reminders not to touch your face, and take them off without touching the mask part. And then wash your hands and your face. I've also got some medical exam gloves here. I had these in a little packet. And I found that that splash shield in this bag. And look at this. I bought this a while back. It's a pandemic flu preparedness kit. It has pandemic information sheet, 2 N95 respirators, 4 surgical masks, and 1 4-ounce bottle of hand sanitizer. So that's pretty cool. So I've got a little kit here, and this was $4.95 whenever I bought this, a couple years ago or 3 years ago or something. So, prepping pays off, because one day you might have to use it, right? Well, that day is now. So to those of you who were prepped and ready, you're good to go. That's awesome. If you panic bought, well, at least you have it. People were criticizing the panic buying, but in a way it's kind of good, because not everyone is panicking. And that lets the people that are aware and are concerned about things get what they need before the real panic starts, because it could get a lot worse. I mean, I don't even consider this panic buying. This is just stocking up. Panic buying looks a lot different. I'm hoping things get better, but I'm prepared for the worst. And I think that's the best way to be. Thanks for watching Survival Theory. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Welcome to Survival. Ooh, that was a loud clap.